Hey guys, welcome to Southern Comfort Homestead. Well, it's early in the morning, and of course I've been out here since 6 a.m. Sometimes I'm here 5 a.m. But with the heat that we're going to be having today of 101, that's not counting the heat index. That's just 101 temperatures, so what they said it's going to be. And usually it feels a lot hotter here. But you see the Cornish broiler meat birds, Cornish broiler chickens. They love getting out of this coop, but I have a setup here. It doesn't look very pretty, but the aim is to keep these chickens cool into this heat so they won't have heat strokes. They'll be cool and happy. Now I have umbrellas up. I have shade cloth that are 90%, and I have fresh water for them. I have it up under the umbrella. I have a fan that's been blowing throughout the night, so right now I'm letting that motor cool off while it's cool in the morning. It's about 78 degrees out here right now. So last I checked, the sun hasn't come up. It's fixing to come up. It's a little cloudy today, but this is their chicken tractor. I have the lid, the top lifted up so that heat rises and so that the airflow will be pushed out of there. The heat airflow will be pushed out of there. And so that they just not be so cramped up. Now as you see, they got their food there. It's going to be in the shade. I'll be watching this today, so when that sun goes around, then I'll be moving that feeder. The chickens over here, now they're into poultry netting here, electric. The chickens here, they've had fresh water. These are my layers, and they're usually out. But right now, because of the meat birds, I'm trying to keep everything protected. I have electric fence around my coop. I have the poultry netting, but they have fresh water. That one in the cage right there, I had a rooster. That rooster jumped on her and ripped her top of her head open. So I was gonna let her out. Her brother is out, but I looked at the top of her head. They started picking on her again the other day, and once chickens start picking at an area and they get the blood, or they see an area they can pick out, they will not stop. So she's in the healing process. I actually let her out for a few minutes, but then she ran back in there. So I decided to just shut her up. I seen one of the chickens looking at her, and I was like, okay, let me shut her back up since she's already gone in there. So the chickens later today, when that heat, sun comes at a certain angle and the heat gets up under the coop is where they get at, over here in the shade. They don't like the heat. These chickens can actually handle the heat better than these Cornish broilers here. They cannot handle the heat. They're big. They're 6 weeks old, and the way their body is built, they can not handle the heat. Ooh, I got a chicken out. So gotta fix this netting over here. So they cannot handle the heat. They start panting, and so in a little bit I'll be cutting the fan on. And this is what you want to do if you're doing this in the heat of the summer. It's July the 21st. Then you're going to make sure that they got plenty of shade. Now I've got shade trees back in the back there, and but it's kind of hard to get all these meat birds back there. And as this week progresses, because it's going to be like this all this week and probably for a while up until the end of August, I might have to move them back there to make sure they stay cool. And there's 25 Cornish broilers here. That's the thing. It's kind of going to be hard for me to get them from here back there up under those shade trees, that big old oak trees or oak trees. So we're going to see how it goes. They love the fan. They just love it. They lay in front of it. They just love it. This is what I always do when it gets warmed up and I see these birds getting hot. Then I put a fan on them. I'll start out with low. As the heat progresses, if I need to be, I'll cut it up on high. And they just love it. There's a beach umbrella. The reason I got it there because the angle of the sun, so the opening right there won't be shining in, keep their area cool. So far this is working. Now it doesn't look the prettiest in the world. This is only a temporary situation, but a temporary situation so far is working or has worked in the past. I used to, at the other place I stayed at, I used to have them up under the trees, still with a fan on them. You know, I had trees that I can keep my eye on them. That's the only thing with them being way over there. I can't really keep my eye on them. I would love to have put them there at the nighttime, but you know, you got to always consider the predators. I tell people all the time, you know, you got to protect them. You always got to protect them, because you're always going to have a predator that's going to come, and if the predator ever comes, they're coming back. Everybody loves chicken. So here I'm building. I just put this poles up yesterday. This fencing, it's not complete. I've got a lot of work to do to it. Working on another coop here. It's smaller, but this is repurposed wood here that's from another structure, and I'm just repurposing it. And so my aim is that I thought if I could, you know, get this, when I get this put up right here, then I have a gate here. I'll try to, you know, fix it to where this coop is open and this coop is open. It's 2 doors. I'm gonna have an egg box on the back, so I got a gate back there. That's all. This has got to be fixed, but because all this is just used stuff, you know, just stuff that just used stuff around here. So and just making it work, so making it happen. So anyways, I plan on trying to shut off the corners over here, and then maybe in the future, the reason I've got it set like this, not only have I got a shade tree there that help out with them, but I got my garden over here, and I can open that gate up, fix it to where, you know, if I don't have anything going on in the garden, I've been gardening, you know, I said a year in one of my videos, completely all year for a year, but it actually has been longer than that when I thought about it. I'm considering taking a break, give the land a break, just work on dealing with the greenhouse. I got plenty of stuff growing in there. Tomatoes are gone. All the tomatoes are out. I need to get in there and till it up. I had such a great production on tomatoes this year, but I've got beautiful plants into the greenhouse that's doing wonderful. So I'm getting tomatoes off of those. But if I block it off over here and block it here and you know, block it off and then open the gate up, I have a deer fencing around the garden. And if I don't have anything in the garden, then I can open that gate up and let the chickens go in there and scratch around, you know, get some hopefully some bugs out or whatever, scratch that soil up, and you know, help me out there with some fertilizer, some nitrogen they'll put out. And I like to do that. I think I'm really considering it. With the times that we live in, you feel like you got to garden all the time, or should garden all the time, or want to garden all the time. But I'm, you know, really considering taking a break for the winter time and just grow in my greenhouse. And hopefully I'll have this done. I'm hoping that I can, if not, then I'll try to figure out another situation where I can, if I'm not gardening, then I could open that up and let them go in there and forage, because it's pretty good that, you know, there's a fence around it. Don't like my chickens running everywhere. It helps me to keep an eye on them. It helps to detour the predators somewhat. If they're running everywhere, you got a great, you're gonna be drawing in the chicken hawks, and so it's a lot easier to maintain it and maintain them. I believe animals need balance, and I believe that you need to keep them to where they're not they have balance. They know their boundaries. And like these chickens, Mr. Rooster there, I tried to let them out one time. They'd never been out as far as except in this fence right here, and they never wanted to go anywhere. They wanted to come back to this poultry netting fence here. But I've got a couple in there that the mother has raised up, and she taught them how to forage. She showed them everything. She took care of them. But the problem is I can't keep them even in this poultry netting. They're not, even though it's electrified, they know how to push themselves through. It's pulsating, so I have a hard time keeping them shut up. And I believe if you can't keep an animal shut up, then maybe that animal doesn't need to be on your homestead, because it's a lot of aggravation. Eventually a predator's going to get them. And so then you've got time and money tied up into them, and what's the sense? So I've got a couple more roosters in there that I want. I got one that's on the outside out here. Not only is he tore that hen's head up, but I actually gave him a couple of hens, and he ripped open the side of a hen, and I had to doctor her back up. And so, you know, I don't know. I want to keep him as a breeder, and that's why I was building a separate coop to have the chickens separated. Originally was planning on having my Jersey Giants, just Jersey Giants in one pen. American breasts, these are the white ones are American breasts, in another pen, and keep the bloodline good. So the Jersey Giant rooster, I got rid of him because I didn't want all this mixed up. I want my breeds right. And so probably my plan is put him in one pen and have him in one pen, and then that way and we'll just see how it goes. Because if he doesn't calm down of hurting my hens so much, then as much as I want to keep him, I just can't see it happening. I just can't see it happening. It's because he's very aggressive with the hens, and therefore he's ripping their skin wide open down to the muscle. So anyways, guys, I just want to show you the Cornish broiler setup. Not very pretty, but it's functional. 101 degrees today, and I've got to get in the garden now. I've been up since after 3 a.m. and I didn't get out the door because I had some things to do. Putting up some pink eye purple hulls, getting them shelled out, and with the machine I got, and getting them put up, and getting, so I can go ahead and get out in the garden and see if I can work on this garden a little bit before it gets too hot. Thanks, guys, for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Y'all said give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I just want to show you, if you are into a hot, humid environment. Now, I would suggest, if you could, try to, most people do the Cornish broilers, meat birds, I just like to get them coming in about February, because we're sometimes pretty warm. Our spring, and last frost date is in around the end of March or 1st of April. But it didn't work out for me this year because I had to have surgery. I put it off, and so now I've got meat birds, which is a good experiment to have them to see how they'll do. I mean, I've had